with the Granny Square bag. No surprise there, because that was kind of the plan, right? I am joined tonight by my lovely wife, Mandy. And, yeah. Oh, hey, Tammy made it too. Tammy's and Tam. All right, guys. We are probably like in the home stretch of this whole bag thing here. I think it's going to take this weekend and next weekend to finish it. I'm not really 100%, but that's kind of what I'm expecting at this point. I did a little homework earlier and found out that we've been working on this since December 22nd, right before Christmas was when this thing started, and it's all been made on the live streams. So if you actually go to my website and you find the post about this bag, there are links to all of the live streams that went into making this, so you can actually like go through it, I think. Hey, congratulations. I think last week you told us that you were almost ready to have the job, but now you actually have it. So good for you. So yeah, so this has like been 13 weeks of working on this bag. Mind you, it's just 3 hours at a time. So whatever 13 times 3 is, was that 39 hours of work to make a bag? I'm hoping that the bag turns out to be the kind of height that my wife is hoping for. There's a lot that have gone into making this bag, specifically for her. So I'm really hoping that this turns out the way she wants it. So yeah, so the next project is already getting lined up, knowing that this is going to be done here in the next couple weeks. I have to actually get started on working out the math and everything for the next one. Yeah, I wouldn't be so sure about it, Cam. The first bag I ever made for her turned out that it was a little bit too big. She didn't like the fact that it was so huge, and she refused to carry it. And it was one of the most hardest designs that I probably had done up until that point. And so yeah, because it was bigger than she anticipated, she wouldn't carry it, which was really a bummer. I have to admit, man, I put in so much into that thing, so many months of steadily working on it, bringing it with me out on bike rides. So when we take a break, I would tie knots and stuff. It was pretty crazy. But this one's a little bit smaller, bit easier to carry. She should be happy. I hope that she's going to be good and happy with it. But yeah, so the next bag is going to be something to carry her phone in, because she wants something to help protect the camera lenses, because it's got a real nice camera on it and a nice outer screen. So she'd like to keep it protected. So I thought that's kind of cool. I could do that. Well, that's funny. So Stream Elements still thinks it's the bot. We have a new bot, and we haven't even tried testing it with the new setup. Hang on, let me open up my audio thing. All right, try seeing whether or not we get the bot.
Are you a charger? Because I can't function without you.
We got the bot,
Yeah.
and he's really lame.
Yeah. Oh, so sorry to be like a question between questions and talking just to my wife here, but I sent my wife a picture here just a few minutes ago. That was like having something like that to your bag. Wouldn't have to have all the loops, but like if it had a couple loops and just have that like, the pull tab, then I wouldn't have to worry about having like a long strap or whatever and worry about how I cut the string. It would be a lot easier in general.
Not for me. If we just did 2 loops on the sides,
Uh-huh.
then I would need to figure out some way of attaching strap to it that doesn't loop around. That means basically I only attach it to the 2 loops on either side.
Hmm.
My thing is, the more streamlined it is, the lighter the bag is.
Right. Well, then you could go without a strap altogether and just have a flat top to it. Like the way I did my light cover. Hang on. See if I can pull it out. This one, where it's just a flat start and it just, you know, big enough that my light just slides in there. That'd be easy enough. My Atari high score. All nines.
Yes, except that when I'm holding in my hand, then there's no way to hands-free it.
There's so many ways that the bag could be made, and that's what makes doing this kind of work interesting, is the fact that there's so many different possibilities. Yeah, even the completion of this bag is a little bit up in the air because Mandy wants to wait on figuring out how she's going to make the strap for it until after the whole thing is done, and then she's going to analyze it at that point and like work out a strapping, system for it. So it's not like in a couple weeks we will have like the full product to be able to show you what got made. It's going to take a little longer than that for her to like work it out, play with a few little prototype ideas, and then actually produce the strap for it. So it should get really, really interesting. Obviously, once it's all completed, it'll probably be shown over on Instagram and the Discord channel. So. And my Reddit channel, I guess. I'll share it over there for sure. I have Not Just Knots on Reddit. Yeah, my part will be done. Mandy likes to do the Kumi stuff, and yeah, we'll see what she comes up with for that. Yeah, so for her phone case, we're already looking at working in the same gray color from this bag into the phone case, so that way there's a little bit of something that connects the two things together. Wait till you guys see the pattern for the next bag. It's really, really cool. Somewhere around here I have a bracelet that I made with that pattern. Actually, I know where it is. So it's this one. So this is the pattern of the next bag. Kind of looks a little bit like the whole Qbert game back from like the 80s or whatever. It looks like something else, but I don't want to say it because I kind of feel like they've got that kind of lawyer money that could get me in a lot of trouble. But it's really a pretty pattern. We're going to make this in oranges, and then the gray color is going to be the same gray from this bag. It wasn't originally going to be a bag. It was just I saw something at a mall and I was like, oh, that's a really cool pattern. I wonder if I could pull it off in knots. And then my new craft was like really challenging me. Like, yeah, you should do that. Like, see if that's even possible, because if it is, that would be really, really awesome and stuff. So I sat down one morning, drinking my coffee, working out patterns, see if it was feasible. And then was like, okay, this looks like, we worked out like the number of strings needed to make the pattern happen and everything. And then I made the bracelet right then. It was just like a whole test of like concept or whatever. And then I was like, if we made something bigger, it would be really, really cool. So I have the string to make a phone case, which I suspect based on the colors, I'm guessing the phone case was meant to be mine. Mind you, like we ordered the string a long time ago, and I've like kind of forgotten like what everything was for. But then there's enough to make a really decent sized bag out of that pattern. So it didn't start out with the idea of doing a bag. It started out with this concept of, ooh, could I make a bracelet? And then things just kind of snowball around here to where it starts out like something simple. and then it just gets complicated. Like this pattern here. This pattern was a Blindsided Creations that my Newt Craft had sent me, and it was only like a small sliver. It was only like half of this square and half of this square, and I looking at it, I was just like, after making the original bracelet, I'm like, I feel like this thing could be more interesting if we doubled its width. And so I did. And then with doubling its width, I noticed that like these diamonds really kind of looked a lot like the granny squares that people crochet. And I was like, oh, if it could be a granny square, then we could do a bag where we have all these different colors in granny squares, and that would be really interesting. And that's how this came about. This, nothing ever starts out big and complicated or whatever. It always starts out like something simple, and then somewhere along the way, I'm like, ooh, what else could I do? So yeah, that's where this one came from. So now there's going to be like 3 versions of that bracelet. One's going to be a little tiny one for Mandy's phone case. One will be my phone case. And then one will be, the notes say duffel bag. I'm not sure how big the duffel bag was meant to be. There does look like there's a fair amount of string there, but I'm not sure how like the math works out. I'll have to like re-go over all that to figure out like how big it's going to be. I really need to give myself better notes for when I'm like putting, buying string and putting up these patterns and stuff. So that way I can go back to the notes and be like, okay, so it's, 12 loops or, 18 loops or whatever it is. So that way I can have a better understanding of what my intentions were. Yeah, so that pile of bracelets I just showed you, these are all bracelets that are mine for like whenever what I'm wearing is worn out. I have what the next ones will be, and they're all extraordinarily different. And they're all something that I, for whatever reason, decided to keep for myself. So I imagine before I do Mandy's next bag, I'm probably going to have to actually sort out the pattern again, despite the fact that I have like a nice double pattern worked out. It's based on like a bracelet style with like a coming up to a point. And because so much of her bag is going to be a flat start, I'll probably have to actually redesign out a whole pattern specifically for that. Yeah, that's why, like, I already have, like, these bracelets on, right? And since all those other ones are really big, Like I don't want to put them on with what I'm already wearing. So basically, once I get tired of these ones, I'll choose like a big one and wear that for a while. Once upon a time, I used to wear these giant, like halfway up my arm kind of bracelets. It was my way of kind of letting the world know, like, I was the bracelet guy and that I had something that nobody else had. Because, like, hanging out with the friends and stuff that I did, there were people who were like getting bracelets from like Guatemala, and they're really cheap and nice bracelets. I mean, they were good looking bracelets, but they were really inexpensive. And so I had to like differentiate myself and say that, like, that I could do custom work for people, and that, I had my own custom work on my own arm to kind of demonstrate that. And it kind of led to a lot more sales because people kind of realized that, like, I was an artist that, doing something a little bit different. And sometimes it was funny because people like ask how much the biggest bracelet is, like $75, $80, whatever. And they're like, oh, well, how about the smaller one? Like that one's, $10. Oh, I'll take the $10 one then, thanks. It's just like, okay, I'm not sure why you asked about the giant one, but sure. Yeah. Yeah, well, people that end up like buying my bracelets probably could make bracelets for themselves, but I try to make bracelets that are so extraordinary that people are like willing to actually buy them. That's what, some of the bags and stuff are all about, was like, sure, like you could potentially make it for yourself, and I teach you how to make it for yourself, but let's face it, it's a whole lot easier just to pull out a checkbook than it is to actually make one of these things. I think we have a lot fewer people here tonight because the weather is getting nice. So a lot of our regulars are out enjoying themselves for a change, but it kind of changes like who ends up coming in. So we'll see some more. Right. Yeah, Cam, you're probably right. That is probably right. Like that, if it was a more affordable price, maybe they would have gotten it. That's true. Another square done. That's awesome. All right. I have to take the clips off the top. So this thing is so big, you guys can't actually even see the top of it. Hey, Rara. So there's a kind of a chance to see the whole thing. So I got to rotate it around a little bit, so that way we can see the area I'm working on. So I just have this this plastic. I think. Well, it's kind of springtime, isn't it? Oh, tonight was Earth Day, right?
Yes.
I only know that was I only know it was Earth Day because there was a thing I got from Starbucks telling me that they're going to dim the lights or something, and that they were going to offer up coffee for people who had refillable cups or something, which sounded like a really nice thing to do. So when I had gone around this row before, like, so if you're wondering like why I'm doing this last little bit of this diamond, when I went around this row before, I thought we were going to add more length to it, and so I had left open to be able to change the color, and then realized that no, this is going to be the row that it ends on, so this part here was not necessary. So you're saying you were disorientated? Ooh, I need to add some gray to this. Right on. I kind of feel like I should have changed out these grays sooner, but I guess there was part of me that was kind of questioning whether or not it was actually necessary or not. And now we are like nearing the end, and for sure, yes, they need to be replaced. So. Cool. So now I have nice long gray strings that'll be able to come all the way down for these next diamonds that I'm about to make. I really want to get a lot done tonight, so that way next week we can actually get this finished. It doesn't feel like we're getting as far ahead as I thought we might by this time of the evening. I don't know. It's funny. When I started this out, I had to like really kind of follow along with the pattern, make sure I wasn't making mistakes. We've gotten to the point now where I haven't looked at the pattern for weeks. And we'll be done with it. And all that I learned will be for nothing because I won't do this pattern again. Not that it wasn't pretty or anything, but it's one of those, you know, it's gone its way. Time to move on to other fun, interesting things. I love this song. Did you see what's playing, honey? Let's see. True story. This, I woke up one morning, was kind of singing this to my wife. The "We Just Lay Here, Forget the World." And then it was a day that I was heading down to the city, and I got a car ride to take me to the city, and this came on the radio like the same day. Like, what a weird, wacky coincidence. Get the world. So I'm not sure it really has the name. It was friendship bracelets before I like started making bigger projects out of it. So I'm not sure that like there's a name. It's not really woven because of the fact that it's all individual knots. But this really all started from friendship bracelets. Now I'm making a bag out of those knots. So it was this kind of stuff. Yeah, rah, that's but yeah, there's like two knots together, which are kind of like a lark's head to make each one of the spots that you see in the bag. So it's sort of, it's very repetitive. But oh, then you'll definitely like my channel. You can sort by easy, regular, and like complicated patterns. So if you want to start out with something smaller, so that way you don't like overstress yourself, you can do that, and then you can build yourself up to these kind of projects. There's over 700 videos so far of various difficulty degrees, plus a lot of live streams. Plus I have a thing where you can become a member and like hang out and like, you know, have a little one-on-one time to be taught how to make stuff. It's embroidery floss, like the kind that like people do like cross stitch with. I got it from AliExpress. It's called the Factory Store on AliExpress, and yeah, it's pretty decent quality and a really decent price. because things like, DMC floss can be rather expensive. So yeah, that would be like my solution, is to get it from China, unless you're in the States, which I apparently found out that's kind of, hey, hello. So yeah, if you wanted to get started in this, I would definitely say find like your cheapest embroidery floss you can get your hands on to get started, because you're probably going to go through a bunch of string, just trying out some basic patterns and designs before you get yourself set up into doing bigger projects. At least that's what I would recommend, because it would be really, really difficult and unfortunate to try to start a huge project that you weren't ready for, only to end up having to waste a lot of string and scrap the whole thing. Starting off with the smaller ones will tell you whether or not you even have the temperament to sit for long hours and put things together. Because a lot of people have said, oh, wow, I like what you do, I want to try that. And then after an hour of sitting, they like freak out. No, it comes in. It comes in things like this. They're just kind of 8 meters in one little thing. Right. DMC can be really expensive. Yeah. What did we figure out this floss is, honey, per skein? Like 15 cents or something a skein from China? I think that's what we worked out.
I think so.
Yes. Yeah. No. My mom was a seamstress, so I learned all kinds of words like skeins, and that's it's what yarn comes in. That's a skein of yarn. I don't know why it is. I just know that that's the right word for it. But yeah, each skein is about 8 meters long, and they're about 15 cents a piece. And well, at least when you buy reasonable bulk, they'll. Well, okay, so macrame is tying knots, and since this is tying knots, it would loosely be macrame. I'm not sure that the macrame community wants.
It is a macrame knot.
Yeah, I'm not sure the macrame community wants to include us in with them, but it is a macrame thing. So yeah. Do I separate the threads? Oh, no. I double them up to make it thicker. No, that would make it thinner. So no. Yeah, by doubling it up, it actually makes it easier for me to add string when some of the strands get too short. So that's kind of helpful. But yes, it is a macrame. But I don't like to just call it macrame. Like when people ask, like, what is the craft? Because it's friendship bracelets. It's a very specific kind of knot that only goes in certain kind of directions. Where macrame has a lot of different knots that you can do a lot of different things with. So this is a style that sort of reduces the amount of different things that you're actually doing with it. So it's about trying to see what you can generate with just these 4 different knots. So there's a knot that goes to the left, there's a knot that goes to the right, and then there's a knot that goes left and then right. Like it changes halfway in the middle. So it's a left, right, and then there's a right, left. And those are the 4 knots that make up all of this. Right. But this is, so one of the neat things about this, like if we were to compare crocheting, knitting, or weaving to this, one of the big significant differences is that each one of these strings is joined via a knot. So if you were to sever any portion of it, if you stuck a knife right through the heart of this, it could come undone to the next knot, but that's pretty much where it would stop unraveling. But if you stab a knitting thing, it can come completely unraveled. If you pull it at the strings from a hole in a knitting, it can completely come apart. Same with crocheting, same with weaving. Right. Oh yeah, you can totally, the way that I create 3D things by like creating tubes and like this whole thing is a cylinder, right? Yes, you could do that with any of the other crafts. That's not a big deal. But just this stuff is really, really hardy. It's really thick. It's denser and stronger than, say, denim. So yeah, no, I'm not going to cut up anything, no. But I one time had one of those big bracers on that I was telling you guys about, like a really big bracelet. And this poor kitten was just being eaten alive by fleas. And so it needed to, have the shampoo done. And we went to put it into the bathtub. And as soon as it touched the water, it spun around, jumped up, and like latched onto my arm. And fortunately, all it got was bracelet. And so it was hanging upside down with its nails stuck into the bracelet. And so I was just like, suds it up, dunk it in. And yeah, this is way more sturdy than knitting and crochet. Way. But yeah, so yeah, the cat got a bath really well, and I did not lose any blood in the instant, so that worked out pretty good. Yeah. Well, you could probably, if for some odd reason Mandy got a hole in this bag and the rest of the bag was in good shape, I would make a bracelet small, that whatever size, and then stitch it on there. Probably for the stitching, I'd probably use catgut, which is like a really strong synthetic stuff they use for leather, and like stitch on a bracelet to cover the hole. And it would give it a whole new life. Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. James, you're 100%. And there's so many, once you kind of get into like going through my videos and checking out the fact that like I don't gatekeep anything. Like there are step-by-step procedures on how to make a bag that's just big enough to like hold the stuff you would normally keep in a wallet. So you could have like a little bag to hang around your neck with your ID cards and a couple credit cards, a little bit of cash, whatever. Like all the steps are there on how to do it, how to take patterns that you may have gotten elsewhere and be able to put them together and make it into this three-dimensional thing. So yeah, Yeah. No, I definitely try to not just inspire people, but to like give them all the help they need to get started and make their own stuff. Yeah, we even have a Discord community where people can like post pictures of like if they got questions on a pattern or want to see me make something in particular. And yeah, stuff like that. Oh, my hands are good. Oh man, speaking of not good, so last week I'm working on this, and as you can see, like there's a lot of bag going up higher, right? In order to like fit the area I'm working on the screen, I had to slide the background of this thing up higher, so that way this part would be in the middle, the center of the whatever. But I forgot that I raised it up so high. And so when I went to do my regular projects, it was up considerably higher than normal. And I started having like the worst pain in my shoulder. And I really thought like this was going to be like the kind of thing that just takes me out of the craft and I wouldn't be able to like recover, because it was just absolutely so painful. And then when I figured out like what was wrong, it's like, it's so funny, but it was only 3 or 4 inch difference. But it's enough that it almost made me incapacitated. So yeah. So yeah, I do actually do tutorials on how to make patterns and how to create different designs and stuff. Like that's a huge part of my channel, is how to take a pattern and alter it and make it for yourself. Yeah, that's a really big part of my whole, yeah. Because like I made my own templates because the stuff moves diagonally. It's a little bit like graph paper, but it's got a way to show like what the string is that's underneath. And so that way you can see what the knot is that's on the top and see what the color was that was underneath it. And that way you can kind of work out what's going on and make the whole thing happen. But yeah, James, you can definitely learn a whole bunch from this. I don't have the numbers of like how many of my bracelets were making patterns, but it feels like almost half of them are. All right, so another diamond done. So I need to rotate this around again, which will give everybody who hasn't seen it already a chance to see kind of this whole thing. So I have this like a piece of plastic that goes on the inside. I think it was supposed to be a cutting board, but it's like really flimsy and it's not really good for that. And then you can see it's a cylinder. And so I so there's 8 loops in all. And so we'll make a cord that goes through the loops, and you know, that my wife will be able to like hang the bag off her shoulder because of that. And I just slide this back in. And then I have these kind of clips, these binder clips that hold it up at the top. And then all the string that I won't be working with kind of gets pushed off to the side. Thank you, Rara. I have no idea why, but something is tickling my nose and it's driving me insane. Well, hey, Rainbow. Welcome. Didn't think you were going to make it here tonight. So 12 stringer rara, that's all it takes to... I guess there's those days where that makes sense. Right on, right on. I was saying earlier that I suspected a lot of the diehards weren't here because the weather's getting better. There's better things to do than to hang out with the guy tying knots. Yeah, I don't... So it's weird. It's like I have these allergic reactions periodically. I'll take a little something, and then like I'll go for weeks without any issue. So I have no idea like what it is. Like, it could be just like some of the string is giving off a little fluff or something, and it's just tickling my nose the wrong way. But whatever it is, it's driving me freaking batty. Hey, honey, any chance I could talk you into getting me an antihistamine before I scratch my face off? Aww.
Google, turn on hallway.
Hallway offline.
Thank you, sir. That's pretty much me on any given day. I spell everything phonetically and wonder why people don't understand what I'm talking about. Is it early? Wait, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon in England? That doesn't sound too early. Yeah. Oh. Oh, so Cam, you're like towards the west side of the U.S. then. Earlier, I was trying to think to myself, like I was trying to remember where you're from. But yeah, I have a thing on my Stream Deck that actually tells me the time in Los Angeles, which is 11 a.m. As well. But then it turns out that's the same time, even if you're in like Las Vegas, which is where my one friend is.
Or Miami, where the tennis is.
Miami would be different. Miami's East Coast, so that would be 11 a.m. right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, East Coast. Sorry, East Coast. I looked over and saw the clock and saw the wrong one. All right, so now we got these. I swear to God, it feels like there's a hair inside of my nostril that's just like, ah, it's like a feather tickling the edges or something. It's driving me insane. Eastern Standard. Okay, right on. I used to be Eastern Standard Time back when I was in Detroit. The Motown. Halfway around the world from us. 12-hour difference. So, Rainbow, how is the sound quality, out of curiosity? I think you can still make out the fan a little bit when I'm talking, but it should be better. The bonus is I can hear the chat being read to me in a creepy robot voice, which is awesome. And I have my music playing in my ears as well. So I'm like kind of hip hopping away over here. Man, I just took this thing off the clips. Should have counted how much. Yay! So the new hardware was worth it. Yeah, I pulled out. I have like these really like crazy sensitive mic headphones. Yeah, I've got these crazy sensitive ones, and I could hear the fan in the background, and I was just like, that sucks. And so like I did a lot of noise gate stuff and some other things trying to make sure that like you wouldn't be able to hear the fan blowing. So yeah. But the problem with testing that is like there is a just a slight display, delay between speaking and then like you hear yourself coming back at you like a second later, and it makes it impossible to talk. You can't. It's really mind-boggling how that works. Like you have to like speak in small bursts. Yeah. But that's what I was doing earlier to try to test out the sound quality. It was not good. Cool. That's awesome. Oh, right. Yeah, if you're in the valleys of mountains and stuff, like, yes. So, yeah, Honeycut is correct. That, yes, you can have weird. Oh, really? I have not only a fan going, but I also have air conditioner going in here. The fact that you guys can't hear that is awesome. Plus, I have, let's go to this camera. I have that thing. Wait, where is my pointing? There, that thing. So that thing kind of squeaks a little bit. It's the fan blows it and it spins and it makes this really weird, cool psychedelic effect. And I love it. And I have to have it running behind myself for no apparent reason because you can't see it in this frame. But in the event that we go to like the me camera, then I got all this cool stuff behind me that's like somehow somewhat relevant to this whole stream. Like we got the big smiley face, which if you'll notice, everybody who's a member has a smiley face next to the thing. We have the on the air because, you know, we're live and everything. There's a big, what are those things called? The money thing?
Money thing?
The gold thing, the Chinese
Ingot.
thing. Ingot, yeah. I
Like
got a great
ingot.
big golden ingot behind me. Just a bunch of really silly stuff.
James, yes, an echo on a phone call, like from back in the cordless phone days. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. Still, the sound quality now is so much better than when I first started streaming. My old computer really struggled to kind of keep up with the streams and the recordings and stuff. So if you go back to some of the early videos, you might be a little bit disappointed. But it didn't take a whole lot of time before we realized we needed better computing power, and got one of those checks from during the pandemic, and got a better computer and improved everything. And it's been a slow, steady improvements here and there. Like it used to be a GoPro camera that looked down to where my hands are. And you would think that makes a lot of sense, right? Because you have like a small amount of space where the camera's looking down at it. But the problem was my hands keep going in and out of the frame, and it kept changing the focal on, like, so it would like focus on my hands instead of my work. And so it would keep changing like every time I moved my hands, which was enough that like it could almost make you feel a little queasy. It was really, really weird. So now we have cameras that don't do that, which turns out those cameras are actually cheaper than a GoPro. But live and learn, you know. At the time, it seemed like the GoPro would be the smartest way possible. Live and learn. But James, I really do hope you do get involved with trying to, you know, this craft, whether you're starting with something like really easy or, you know, whatever. Because there's even like projects that I've done where I've deliberately made bags that were as beginner friendly as humanly possible. So that way people who wanted to take on a bigger project would be able to have something to try without making it like over the top. Like this one here, this is pretty complicated. Changing out the colors all through it. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Like I really wanted this done and over with a while back, just because it's a doozy. The heck? My strings seem to have bonded.
Don't get your strings in a bunch.
They're trying to. More important than that, let's not break the coven. Did I tell you guys the story? Like Mandy got me some nasal strip things, like stickers you put on the outside of your nose to help you breathe at night, that have somehow, most of my life, I've had a terrible sense of smell. I couldn't tell you, you know, a perfume difference or whatever. Like it just couldn't smell it. And for some odd reason, sleeping with these stupid strips on my nose had made it so now I smell all kinds of things that I couldn't have before, which has been really kind of weird for me. Just a random thing that kind of comes up here lately is like, I'll call my wife and come to the kitchen. Why? What does this smell? I have no idea what It's just, I have very little points of references for these things because, you know, one, grew up in America, so a lot of these smells are maybe different if it's a cuisine kind of thing or whatever. And but yeah, really weird. Yes. You're not going to believe this. I am like so analytical, James. You're going to love this. I know exactly why that happens because I did a lot of homework to try to figure out what that's about. But yeah. So it turns out when you're making a bracelet, let me pull a bracelet out over here. Okay. You got the bracelet here, right? As you're coming across from where you have it clipped down at, let's say the clip is here, and as you're coming across, it's diagonally coming down, right? And that means the left-hand side is close to the clip and the right side is furthest from the clip. And so it sort of rises up, you know, as you're nodding along, it's coming up like this, and that's where the curve comes from. It doesn't happen if you balance it out with strings coming in the other direction. It'll balance it out perfectly. But if you're trying to make the candy stripe and it's curling that way, what you can do is turn it on a 45-degree angle and put the clip across like this, so that way the whole entire row is exactly by your clip and it won't curl. It'll be the flattest bracelet you've ever had because that's what causes it. It's just a slight micro difference on each one of the knots as it's rising up towards you that you're like baking the curl right into it. And so, yeah, that's exactly why it is. And that's how you prevent it. And yeah, I did a lot of work to figure out what was going on there. And I have made the flattest one. Like I had it was probably as wide as one of these where I did it, a candy stripe, perfectly flat, because yeah, that's it. That's exactly why. But once you start getting into chevrons and stuff, it won't do that. It'll balance itself out. It's kind of like there's an artist who likes to do this thing with bricks where he takes a book and sets it on the floor and then keeps going with the bricks over, and then it makes this like curvature thing where the book was, and it shows that like one book can change everything. It's a little bit like that, like just a little tiny alteration, you know, will snowball into like a bigger effect. But that's why it's like a spiral staircase, that spiral that you're talking about. Yeah, I'm well familiar. And that's awesome that your mom tried to get you into bracelets a long time ago. That's awesome. I wonder how much she still remembers of making that. Like I said, we're over 700 videos here on my channel so far. So you really, you may have found the rabbit hole for embroidery, knotting and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so if they were really tight, that means you were probably tying your knots really good and tight like you should. But yeah, that's why it's just a little tiny thing getting baked in with every row. And if I seem overly excited about it, it's because like I actually know that one really, really well. And I love talking about like the little nuances that goes on in making stuff, but it doesn't really come up in conversation a whole lot. So yeah, you just appeal to that like ADHD side of my brain that's like, yes, we know. So yeah. Yeah, the main thing you have to learn before getting into bigger projects is how to maintain tension. Most of my knots are all the same tightness, although there is the exception, like when I'm adding string, I need to like maybe crank it down just a little extra tight so that way it looks like the normal size, even though there's more strings involved. But once you kind of get like the hang of getting your knots at a consistent tension, then you can kind of move on to bigger projects and other things. You don't have to learn how to make the knots that go to the left and the right. There's plenty of patterns that just use the first two knots. Although it seems that like most people really want to try to bite off more than they can chew when they're first getting started, because they see something and they think, wow, that's so gorgeous, I want to make that. And it's harder than what their skill level is ready for. And so they become discouraged when it doesn't turn out right. And for me, I suggest like stay at beginner level projects, like go through my videos. There's a ton of beginner stuff. Stick to those until they start coming out perfect, and then maybe like jump onto like something, the intermediate level stuff. Which I think the biggest part of my channel is probably dedicated to intermediates. It just is what it is. Like those are like the projects that seem to call out to me the most. And then once you kind of get the hang of that, then you can go on to the more advanced things. There are some that are like really just out there, but there's plenty of like even intermediate level bags and stuff that you can put together. Yeah, James, just imagine the surprise that your mom would have if you provided a small handbag for her that was made out of knots. Like she tried to teach you how to do friendship bracelets, and then you come back with something like that. That'd be amazing. Okay, this actually sounds really cool. So James, I'm not sure if you're on a phone or a tablet or whatever, but you're on a vertical stream. And in a couple minutes here, we're going to do a puzzle game that's on the horizontal stream. You'll be able to see what's happening, but if you want to actually play along, you gotta go check out the horizontal, which I don't think Oh, I didn't link it this time. The link will be to the wrong video because just kind of skipped that part when I was setting it up. Maybe Mandy can drop a link for you into the chat. Or can I do it? Hang on. I'm going to try to correct my error here. Yep, I can do it. Cool. Okay, so now there's a link in the description that'll take you over to the other thing. I need to find the puzzle game. Good job, guys. That little bit of time there gave me a chance to go use a neti pot to try to clear out my sinuses, which feels absolutely so much better. So did you guys get to hear the applause and the special effects that come after the puzzle?
No?
Really? After it plays, there's like this whole thing that the bot does where it's, you know, there's whistling and applauding and carrying on. Okay, cool. Really?
You're the only one who can hear it.
I need to figure out why that is then.
You sure you're not just hearing things?
I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know then why there was no applause, but you know. I don't know why. Yeah, sometimes if you get advertisements, it can put you behind everybody else on the stream. So you have to like try to catch things up. Otherwise, you can be behind everybody else. These sound effects can't be just in my head. That can't be a thing. That would make me absolutely crazy.
Uh-huh.
Really? Is it just really quiet then? It's possible that it's just really quiet. In which case, I need to find out where the sound comes from. Hang on. I know where to look for it. No.
It's raining here again.
I don't see where the sound comes from. How is that? I'll have to spend some time during the week and figure out if I can find it. Yeah, and the ad will put you off by however long the ad was. It's 26 degrees outside. It got down to like 23 during the week. We had so much rain. It got down to like our temperatures got down to 23, and I thought that was I actually wore like a baseball, I think that's what they call those kind of t-shirts. The the jersey type where it's like comes to your elbows. Yeah. One of those shirts I like seldomly ever wear because it never gets cool enough for it. Yeah. Well, it got, so yeah, it's 78 now, but it got down to 73, which is definitely cold by Singapore standards. Yeah. Cool. Another diamond done. All right. Spin this thing around again. Give everybody a chance to have a nice look at where we are. So 1, 2, 3 more diamonds. Well, 4. There's a fourth one for the base. We get those, but for some odd reason, this monsoon has been bringing some cooler air with it. It's been coming in from the east, so that's out towards the oceans and stuff. Right on. Yeah, I definitely think we're finishing this up next week, and there's a good possibility that I'm going to have to work out a camera setup so that way we can have Mandy working on tying up the base together so you can kind of see how that gets done. Last time we did that, we used my phone as a camera, so we might have to set that up again. I'll get it figured out this week so we can get that sorted. Yeah, I kind of have to say we have enjoyed many a rainy outings, like going out on a bicycle when it's just like a light drizzle and enjoying the cooler temperature. Yeah. What is that? Wow. I think the worst one for people with glasses, besides rain, is coming in from the cold and you walk into like a warm building and suddenly everything just goes frosted. Okay. Actually, all your talk about being addicted to this rain thing kind of reminded me of my uncle. He was addicted to brake fluid. You know, we tried telling him you shouldn't drink this. This stuff's probably poisonous. But he was addicted to brake fluid. But if you asked him, he could stop anytime he wants. Right on, Cam. Ooh. Now I want to know how that works. Right.
2 hours later.
I've got some glass cleaner that I keep in the bathroom. that you can spray onto the mirror while you're taking a hot shower, and it'll make it so that way the mirror won't fog up, so that I can shave. I wonder if like that she didn't just tap her glasses, but maybe she like had a little spray thing or something to get rid of the fog. I don't know. Maybe there's a way. Maybe she's got some kind of a defogging glasses, like particular. I don't know. That'd be so cool. Oh, thank you, MZ. I didn't see your comment there. Sorry about that. Or, Cam, is transition lenses the ones that turn shaded? Is that what that means?
Yes. Yes.
That's pretty cool. I figured it was either that or the lenses that make it so that way, like, they're part reading glasses and part, like, you know, different something. Right. Right on. That's kind of awesome. I wonder if I have any photos of me in the glasses I had in high school. I too had glasses for a little bit and then then my eyes went better. But yeah, they were very early 80s. What? Has anybody got the Apple TV to watch Severance? I keep hearing like amazing things about this, and like, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's the kind of thing I would want to watch or not. Right. I have an iPad, so I'm kind of curious. Like maybe I could watch it via the iPad, but I'd have to pay for the Apple TV service thing. I'm not sure if it's worth.
You don't need whatever to watch Apple TV, I think.
You can get it from your computer.
Yeah. There's Apple TV Plus. I looked it up.
Oh, that sounds awesome. No, I want cinnamon rolls.
You were trying to be good.
Yeah, I know, right? Right on. I'm sure that's like a healthier way of doing things as well. My thing is I'm trying to lose weight, and I probably shouldn't have things like cinnamon rolls. I used to make donuts back in the day, and the uh, the big apple fritter things. Oh man, I could go for one of those made the way I used to make it. Got to put a lot of extra apple stuff inside of those. Did I ever tell you my favorite story about when I was making donuts? So I was making donuts, and from where I am inside of the bakery part of the store, I heard a little girl go like, "Mommy, can I have a donut?" And the mother's like, "No." And they were headed towards where the deli was, which is kind of just down for me. And like, I came out and like, oh, can't she just, I gave her like a sample donut or whatever, like a donut hole. And the mother is all kind of pissy with me because apparently donuts are the reward for being really, really well behaved or something. And here I am just giving her daughter some donuts because, that's what she wanted. And so I turned and I looked to this little girl who's probably like 8 years old. And I told her, like, I make the donuts here. And the little girl's eyes lit up and she's like, wow. And I'm like, and when I make the donuts, I can eat as many donuts as I want. And her face just like, wow. I have probably absolutely ruined this child's future. Like, she's not going to be a doctor. She's not going to be a lawyer. She's going to make donuts. And she's
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to make the donuts. Yeah, I did as well. I was very pleased with myself for that.
Oh, maybe she grew up and became a celebrated baker.
Right. It could go either way, right? She either be like severely diabetic and cursing her choices, or she could be. I don't know. Is that the sound of thunder? Yeah. Was that thunder I just heard?
Yes.
Ah. Aw. I got a feeling that we're about to get hit with a really big storm, but based on the thunder that's roaring out there. Aw. Oh, goodness. Is that coming towards us? Or Mandy just sent me a image of the storm that's out there.
Yes, it's coming towards us.
All right. So in the unlikely event, well, I shouldn't say it's unlikely. In the possible event of the power outage, I want to thank my YouTube members making this possible. There is a major storm heading our way, and the thunder, you can hear it. It's getting closer. And this is like tropical storm kind of stuff, like crazy heavy stuff. So the lightning knocks our power out, which has happened before. I just want to give you guys like a heads up, like. I've been doing this a little while. I'm bound to sound like I got my stuff together at times. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly right. That was exactly my thought. If in the event of a power outage, it would take me a good 10 minutes or more just to get the computer back up and running and stuff. So, yeah. And it's sounding really bad outside. It sounds like being at the wrong end of the bowling alley. Oh, we've got like 6 people over on the vertical stream. Hi, people.
Many views have we had? tonight?
357 on the vertical and 17 on the regular, the horizontal, the regular. I like how the vertical has got a great discovery rate, but then the real magic really happens on the horizontal stream.
The real fun?
The real fun. Something smells funny in here. Right on, James. Exactly. Oh, that's a good question. Oh man, cinnamon rolls are the theme of the evening now. Indiana, right. That's pretty cool. I was originally from Detroit, so I was a little bit further east. I always say Detroit. Most of my life was the suburbs. I did live in Detroit a couple times, but mostly the burbs. Man, Cam here to let us know that we're missing out. So here's something that might freak some of you guys out, and maybe you can't even imagine what it's like. But since I've moved to Asia, the use of cinnamon is different here. They put it on meat, and I can't stand it. Apparently, Mandy's mother used to have the opposite thing. She could handle, cinnamon on beef, but she couldn't handle the cinnamon rolls or anything to do with cinnamon with something sweet. So yeah, like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, as soon as I taste it, I'm like, ugh, don't like that. It's hard to imagine because it just doesn't make sense. It's like,
It's just one of the spices in 5-spice powder.
yeah.
It's also used in Indian curries and all kinds of things.
Right.
It's just about the proportion. And then you have, me who likes them both.
Yeah, I can't handle cinnamon on beef or cinnamon on pork. For now. Right. Oh man, I had to make Mandy try one of those. What is it? The pop and fresh things. The things where you peel the paper and it just pops. She knew it was going to do the thing, and she still jumped. And I'm like, that's normal because I would jump too. I really want to finish this diamond before the end of the stream. That would just leave us with 2 diamonds to work on next week, which would give us plenty of time for sealing up the base of it. Well, I've only been doing these on Saturday nights with the live streams, and this has been the 13th episode, so like 3 hours times 13 things. That's what, 39 hours to make it. Which you can't say that if you just like work 2 days straight that it would be done, but just to give you kind of an idea like how long it would take normally. Because once upon a time I didn't dedicate so much time to like making videos and tutorials, so I would just go at these kind of projects and have them done inside a couple weeks. But yeah. My string was trying to tie itself in a knot where it didn't belong. Yeah, I used to, like, once upon a time, you could ask me, like, how many bags I've made, and I would be able to tell you the exact number. Somewhere along the line, that kind of fell through. And, yeah, I have no idea anymore. I've made a lot. Oh, James, you can check out my website, AKAAWOL.com, and see, like, there's a portfolio area, so you can see a lot of the bracelets I've made, as well as the bags. You can, yeah. Well, I actually feel better when I actually stay steady with it. Too long a break, and suddenly my hands don't like doing it anymore. But yeah, there's So one of the first, when I was making the first bag, I took the thing and put it around my head, and it looked like I had ridiculously long hair. So when you go into portfolio, if you click Rapunzel, it'll actually take you to all the bags, or at least the ones that made it to a photo into the portfolio. I don't think they're all there, but yeah. But that's why they're called Rapunzels. There's just a ridiculous amount of string. I often say, like, back when I first was learning how to do this back in '87, if that Kevin could see how much string I go through, yeah, total freak out. In fact, yesterday's video was about me unboxing 3.6 kg of floss, which is kind of a small order for me. Like, to be honest, I've had an 8 kg bag of floss arrive, but yesterday was International Color Day, so I actually did an unboxing video where I was counting out all my floss and talking about the whole process and stuff. There we got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, but not on the future is coming on. Sunshine. Oh, the stream is lagging up. Why is that? have strong internet, but it was lagging there. I don't see why.
Eli.
Yeah, it was dropped. Well, it doesn't say that I dropped frames.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, the Vert stream had the little circle thing.
Maybe it's only affecting the Vert stream.
Maybe. Cool. That's good news. We're getting near the end. I'm going to finish on this diamond. That'll leave me 2 diamonds to work on next week, and then the finishing up the joining the base. So basically, there's like 2 diamonds that kind of fold underneath and tie to the other side, and then some of the other ones is like the diamond comes in. It's really weird. You'll have to tune in next week to see it. Yeah, you're right. That could be like a local thing causing the internet to get weird.
Not likely though. How would that work?
So our internet has to go through many channels to get from here out to like the US, like through the Pacific or whatever. So it's like our fiber optic has to connect to something that's outside somewhere, and then
Yeah, but it's all underground.
Yeah, but lightning is when it hits the ground. Like that's ground is literally like when you talk about electronics, you got positive, negative, and ground. Lightning can disrupt the flow of electricity because it suddenly floods the ground with so much energy, and that's how it can knock out things like internet. We're probably pretty well shielded, but there's a possible, other points something can be a muck. There we go. Let's turn this a little bit. Yeah, so we got this square here, and then there's a blue one right here. So these two will, this thing will square up like this, and this will go over to the other side and join. I think that's how it works. Hang on. The all right. Yeah, it's going to be a real pain to get that sewn together. I am not envying Mandy at all. Yeah, I think ours is more grounded than that. That's true with whatever that internet thing is that Elon Musk does. That goes to satellites, and like there's a couple services in the U.S. that use satellites, but whereas ours is more from the ground.
We have like giant pipes on the seabed.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to take some photos of this. It looks so good. Only 2 more diamonds though. Skynet. let's not give Kevin bad dreams now. Let's please. Oh, it was a good one, James. All right, guys.
When we say we'll be back, when power cuts.
Right. So, wait, before I go, where's my thing? Let me thank my YouTube members who make all this stuff possible. Without their help, I wouldn't have all this string to be able to throw around and make big projects with. Because this one was a doozy. And at some point, I probably get a calculator and figure out like how much string this thing actually used. But I'm also a little bit scared to do that because it's probably a number I probably don't really want to know. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me once again this evening. We'll be back again next Saturday, same time. It starts 10 p.m. Singapore time, which is like 10 a.m. Detroit time. But yeah, we'll be back next week for more fun. Well, basically we're going to finish this thing. Now, how long that takes, I have no idea, because getting this thing to join together is going to be a chore, and I'm already like worried for Mandy, and yeah, kind of is what it is. So yeah, wish us luck. And yeah, we'll be back. So wait, where's my button? Go, there it is. All right, so thanks, and don't get your strings in a bunch.